Hello and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. In each episode, we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we are taking a look at a direct-to-video sequel as we take a look at The Little Mermaid 2 on Return to the Sea. And stay tuned for our bonus story as we take a look at Voyage of the Little Mermaid. If you are enjoying these videos, I do ask that you please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new video. Now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, we are covering The Little Mermaid Return to the Sea. This was a direct-to-video sequel released on September 19th, 2000. It was directed by Jimmy Cameron, and it was written by Elizabeth Anderson, Tempe Matthews, Elise DeHernay, and Eddie Grisilian. The production companies were Walt Disney Television Animation and Walt Disney Home Premiere, and it was distributed by Walt Disney Pictures, or Walt Disney Home Video, actually. So in terms of the production, this was a direct-to-video sequel released 12 years after the original. Many of the original voice actors returned to voice their characters. In terms of the role of Melody, Ariel's daughter, there were actually several people considered. These included Amanda Bynes, Hilary Duff, Lindsay Lohan, and Britney Spears. The songs for this movie were written by Michael and Patty Sulfsher, and they wrote 4 original songs. Chelsea Wright also re-recorded Part of Your World to play over the film's end credits. The film's official soundtrack was released on September 19, 2000, and along with a limited 2-track promo CD sample was also included in the soundtrack. And on September 25th, 2000, a video game based on the movie was released for the PlayStation, and it would be re-released years later on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, and PlayStation Vita. In terms of the voice cast, so we have Jodie Benson returning as Ariel. To play Melody, we have Tara Strong. Samuel L. Wright returns as Sebastian. Pat Carroll voices Morgana. Buddy Hackett returns as Scuttle, and this would turn out to be his final role. Kenneth Mars as King Triton. Max Casella as Tip. Stephen Frust as Dash. And Rob Paulsen plays Prince Eric. So in terms of the plot, after escaping a botched kidnapping attempt by Morgana, the terrible sea witch and Ursula's sister, Ariel and her husband make sure that their innocent baby, Melody, is safe from future attacks. As a result, the word parents, along with the mighty King Triton, keep a secret from Melody's aquatic heritage, forbidding her from going near the ocean. However, 12 years later, Melody's longing for the sea will inadvertently lead to a well-thought-out plan as the rebellious adolescent finds herself engaged in Morgana's villainous schemes, where Ariel has to return to the ocean and reunite with her childhood friends in order to save her baby daughter, Melody. So in terms of recommending this movie has a lot of great elements to it. Unfortunately, they just don't come together, and the negatives outweigh the positives. On the positive, you have a great, talented voice cast. You have Rob Paulsen, who's a legend in the voice industry. You have Jodie Benson returning as Ariel, whose voice is amazing. And you have Tara Strong, and this was one of her first film roles, voiceover roles. But she would go on to huge success with doing the voice of Harley Quinn. So you have this great voice cast, and you have a great idea with Ariel having a daughter and kind of continuing the story. But unfortunately, this is where it falls apart, is the story is just so weak, and it's a lot of lazy storytelling. The movie is basically the reverse of the first movie, where the first movie obviously is Ariel wanting to go to the human world. This one is Melody wanting to go to the under the sea world. But again, like I said, there's a lot of lazy storytelling, and 2 great examples of this are, first of all, Morgana as the villain and using the same voice actor. While Pat Carroll does an amazing performance, it just seems like a lazy, okay, well, we want to have Pat Carroll in the movie, and we're going to use Morgana as Ursula's crazy sister. Like, there's no kind of full fleshed out of this character. And I don't have a problem with them using Morgana as a character. That's fine, but just flesh it out a little bit more than just Ursula's sister, and then acting out the exact same way. The other element that's kind of lazy storytelling is tip and dash. So they add nothing to the story other than helping Melody get the Triton, get King Triton's Triton. But I just think it's just a pure ripoff of Timon and Pumbaa. Like, it's one sarcastic little character and one over-the-top big character. And it's just, they add nothing to the story, and it just, like, their song even doesn't make any sense. Like, it just, I don't know. They just, it's a complete two throwaway characters. And even in the final battle, they're barely even there. So just kind of disappointing on that end. I think this movie's poor performance is probably why they never go back to the princesses having children idea. Ariel is currently, as of 2023, the only official Disney princess with a daughter. And I don't think they ever go back to this because this show was actually poorly received. This movie, I should say. I really recommend the original movie. It's one of, like, my favorite Disney movies, Disney animated movies, and one that'll always hold close to my heart. Even the third movie, Ariel's Beginning, I think is a lot better than this one. While, again, there was a lot of great elements together, it just unfortunately did not pull together to make a really good movie. So, as we move on to Ramona's story, let's talk about the Voyage of the Little Mermaid. So Voyage of the Little Mermaid is a live theatrical show at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World, and it is a retelling of the animated The Little Mermaid. The show replaced Here Come the Muppets and is located in the animation courtyard, and the show opened on January 7th, 1992, and only recently closed on July 15th, 2020 because of the COVID pandemic. The show features vocal performances from Jess Harnell, Pat Carroll, Corey Burton, and Frank Welker. The show is a mixture of both puppetry and live actors. The show was designed to be a temporary show, but due to the popularity of the show, it lasted over 20 years. In terms of the show's synopsis, the pre-show starts with a collection of Triton artifacts where guests enter into the theater. Once the show starts, a musical number of Under the Sea is composed with blacklight puppets. After that number, we transition to a live-action Ariel who sings Part of Your World. And after she sings that, we transition again to a giant 12 feet tall, 10 feet wide puppet of Ursula who sings an abridged version of Poor Unfortunate Souls. The transition then turns into a highlight reel of the events of The Little Mermaid, and then you see the conclusion of the film where we transition to Ariel on the beach, who is greeted by Prince Eric and Max. The audience, upon exiting the theater, leads to a waterfall effect that allows guests to return to the surface and back to the animation courtyard. So in terms of memories of the show, this was one of my favorite shows in Hollywood Studios because it was a great retelling of The Little Mermaid, and the Under the Sea with the puppets was amazingly done. So it's unfortunately a shame that I don't think there's any plans to reopen it as of when I'm recording this, but it'd be a shame because again, a great show mixed with puppetry, and then you have that vocal performance of Ariel singing Part of Your World. So I think it was great. There are rumors that with the upcoming Little Mermaid live-action feature film, that the show may be retooled to include elements from that film. So we will have to see. But I hope this show does live to see the light of day one more time. So thank you so much for joining us here on Disney Movie Investigation. I would love anyone to please leave a comment below on what they think of The Little Mermaid Return to the Sea, as well as if you have a favorite memory of Voyage of the Little Mermaid. I would love for you to share it. So as we look forward to our next episode, we are going to go back to our series on the Planet of the Apes films as we take a look at the sequel, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.